Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Economy by Aman Soni. In today's news hour, we'll be discussing the important articles related to economy from the Hindu newspaper. In page 1, we do not have anything related to economy. Let's go to the editorial page. Even here, this article is not directly related to economy, but it is related to both economy and governance. You don't need to read this article in detail because it is not that directly important. I'll summarize it for you. So, this article says that the state government of Meghalaya had launched a scheme called the Chief Minister's Relief Against Wage Loss Scheme. This scheme was supposed to give money to the people who got affected during the COVID-19 period. But what happened was the details of the scheme was not given. The beneficiaries of the scheme, how they would be identified, it was not updated on the portal. The RTI Act, which stipulates under the Section 4 that the authorities have to give voluntary information, that had not been done. So the Chief Minister announced the scheme and only few people got the amount. And even the people who got the amount, they got different amount for different categories. So the people didn't have any transparency against what the scheme is about, how much the money and who are the beneficiaries. So the people and the social service groups, they went for a virtual audit by themselves. This public audit, which is taken by the people, they created a online system wherein the people could verify for themselves. They made a website. All the people who got the amount, they updated the amount that they got, and all the people who applied for the scheme and who didn't receive any amount, they also updated the status. Finally, they demanded the government through RTS, but no reply came. They wanted a public hearing through a retired Chief Justice, but the Department of Labor didn't attend that. So the article says that when the government schemes are not clear and there are lacunas in the implementation, the government has to be responsible under the RTI Act, showing what the government steps have been and where the amount is going. And there are various other funds apart from the COVID fund, like the District Mineral Foundation Fund, the Disaster Relief Fund, the CAMPA, the Compensatory Afforestation Fund. In all these funds, we don't know where the expenditure is happening, and people are right to know where the expenditure is happening, and the government has to put the information in public domains. Otherwise, the people in democracy, they would take up initiatives on their own and they'll go for public audit, like it happened in this case. And in the open editorial page, you don't need to read this because it has repeated the same things that we have previously discussed on the budget day, and the same provisions have been written and the opinions of the people concerned are taken, so you can skip the article. There is nothing in news are related to economy. We can directly go to the business page. In the business page, and in this article related to cryptocurrency, the revenue secretary says that they are justified in taxing cryptocurrencies at 30% because the cryptocurrencies are speculative in nature and they don't create any value directly in the economy through investment. While even the shares, equity shares, and the debt instruments, they have security transactions tax when they are traded on the exchange, and these create value in the economy because they invest in the companies. So they say that a speculative business can have 30% tax on the profits. Let's look at this article. PMI reflects further easing in services activity. PMI means purchasers managers index. So this purchasers managers index is used for gauging the level of economic activity that is been taking place in the economy. So basically how this PMI works is, in all the companies, the purchasing managers, the people, the managers who are responsible for taking the orders, placing demand for the raw materials, giving production orders, and the people who are responsible for providing the goods to the suppliers. All these people, they participate in a survey and they give their opinion about the number of orders they are getting, the expectation of the consumers, the supplies they are going to do, and the index would be rated from 0 to 100. 50 is the neutral point. Any increase more than 50 over the previous month means that the business activity is increasing. Any decrease below 50 means the business activity is reducing. So this month what happened? The purchasing managers index fell from 51.5% from 55% to 51%. That means earlier month the activity was happening at a higher pace. Now it fell to 51. That means the activity is increasing, the production is happening, the orders are coming in, but the rate at which that is happening is reducing. So a further difference from 50 means higher economic activity. That means a PMI of 60 means more economic activity compared to a PMI of 55. That's about purchasing managers index. We don't need to read this news regarding SF holdings and this news. We need to know that in its disinvestment proceedings, the government is going to list LIC for IPO in coming future. So as a part of that, the people are waiting for the embedded value of the LIC so that they can know what is the valuation of LIC. In insurance terms, what is embedded value? Just like we have the concept of net worth for individuals, in insurance companies, this concept is called embedded value. So what is embedded value? It means how much the company is worth as of now. To calculate the embedded value, they'll take the present value of the all future cash flows. Present value of future cash flows. That means they expect how much profits the LIC is going to generate in the future, and they discount all the sum of those profits to the present value, and that is added. That amount is added. Apart from that amount, the present net worth of the company is taken, net of assets and liabilities, and that is added. And both of these added together, that is known as embedded value. So if you understand, this embedded value shows how much the company has accumulated till now and what is the expectations of it for performing in the future. So it shows the market worth of the company. So this embedded value will help the investors in valuation of LIC and how much they could be investing in LIC. Banks act against Future Retail Limited for missing payments. The Future Retail company, which maintains the Big Bazaar, they have not paid their loans for a more than 90 days. So because of this, now the banks have started classifying their loans as non-performing asset. But here we need to look at the backdrop of it. There is also a news about Amazon, Reliance, and Future Retail. The backdrop is Future Retail is a company who manages the Big Bazaar chain of businesses. Previously, there was another business of Future Retail Group called the Future Coupons. So in 2019, Amazon invested around 1,500 crores for a 49% stake in the Future Coupons. This Future Coupons has a stake of 10% in the Future Retail. Now finally the promoters of Future Retail and the directors decided to sell the Future Retail to Reliance Industries Limited because they are not able to perform the business well. Amazon has objected this, saying that we have interest in a company called Future Coupons, which has interest in a company called Future Retails. So technically, we hold around 3 to 4% of future retail shares, and you can't sell our business to our competitor before giving us the opportunity to purchase the business. So the Reliance Industries and the Future Retail, they went to High Court, Delhi High Court. The Delhi High Court said you can go ahead and you can take the deal. But Amazon went for arbitration in Singapore, International Arbitration Court, and the International Arbitration Court said you have to stop the deal between Reliance and Future Retail. Then again, Future Retail appealed, then Amazon appealed. Finally, the case is in Supreme Court. We'll have to wait for the judgment of the Supreme Court. In text and context, we have a big article related to economy, but the crux of it we have already discussed. So yesterday when we were talking about the MG Narega payment delays, we were talking about the rural income and the consumption expenditures in rural income. Because the MG Narega payments were delayed, the rural income would be low, so the consumption in rural income would be low, rural areas would be low. Finally, it would affect the growth of the economy. And in other articles, we discussed that in this year's budget, even though the fiscal deficit is increasing, it is mainly focused on the capital expenditure part, and the crucial revenue expenditures like the subsidies, education, etc. On all these, the allocation has decreased. So the article again says the same thing. It relates everything and says that it's okay, it's good that you have increased the capital expenditure, but the gains that you are going to get from the capital expenditure won't be enough to cover the loss in consumption and in the rural areas, which mainly provide for the incomes of the rural area people. That loss won't be enough to cover for the gains from the capital expenditure. So in order for the economy to grow, you have to focus on the increasing of rural incomes and kickstarting the rural consumption. That's about this article. The graphs say the same thing. While the deficit is increasing, the corporate tax reduction is happening, and the corporates are getting more benefits out of the budget, and the allocation to important services like the social services, the agriculture and allied services, they are all reducing, and the rural consumption is getting affected. That's the summary of this article. And that's it for today in News Sir. Thank you so much.